Hello and welcome to Amble Talks about whatever you want me to talk about whilst playing Minecraft. Today we are in the melon area, but who knows, we might end up somewhere else. Though we actually have some comments, or I should specifically... There are no cuts, we keep it in, we keep that terrible take. Benji commented, talk about what you think about other online and how you feel when people are rude online. I assume he means others online because that is the closest and most immediate. That makes sense. Oh my god, he has reach. Bye bye. You're welcome, Mr. Chicken. Nice, he's got the front seat. And so I will talk about people being rude online as my main subject point. That is going to be my main focus point in the whole video. Is that one, because that's the only comment I got. But what I said last time was, whatever I get, that's what I have to talk about. And so that is what I'm going to talk about, is these two topics of what I think about other people online and how do I feel when people are rude online. You can also contribute by simply commenting an idea, and I will get back to you and talk about it again. As long as there are comments, I will talk about them. So, let's just jump into it. What do I think about other people online? Well, what do I think about people in real life? Because that's the difference. There is no difference, really. The only barrier is that I cannot see them physically. I can digitally see them, or I can digitally hear them, but I'm not actually there. Though, just because they're not actually there, why should I treat them any different? And that is where I stand on that. And we can expand on that. Because why should I treat someone differently just because they're online? The answer is I'm not going to, because that would be rude. Not linking to the other thing yet, but Blob is online. It would be rude. You know, it's like, just because you're online doesn't mean I can be any more or less of a dick to you. And sure thing, I could be more or less of a dick to you because maybe that's funny, and that's how that might be entertaining to me, or that might be entertaining to you, and you enjoy that kind of humor. But I'm not going to be any more risque in that front just because I can't talk to you. So, but let's go further into this comment, because what do I think? That may not be necessarily how I treat other people, though that's the first thing I went to, which is interesting. That could be its own little diverge. But I shall stay on track. Stay on track, Amble. Stay on track. You can do it. You can do it. Stay on track. So what do I think? So I'm going to think about other people online that comes to my mind. So if a few content creators I've been recently enjoying is, well, Toycat's been for a while. Love you, Toycat. GeoWizard, recently getting really into GeoWizard and geography videos. And again, thanks Toycat for that one. If it wasn't for Toycat, I wouldn't be as interested in geography videos. So that's that link. And Joel Harver, who's a guy who makes kind of short, entertaining videos. And what do I think about those people online? Well, I admire them. I respect them. I want to learn from them. I take their wisdom, I listen to them, and I see if I can apply it to my own life. Because I respect what they do. And I do kind of want to be like them, but of course I can never be them. You can never be me, so you might as well give up. But you can perhaps learn a few things from each other. Perhaps you can learn something from me. And that's absolutely fair. And because there are things that you are doing that I'd like to learn, and there are things that I'm doing that you'd like to learn. And that's an exchange of ideas. And that's beautiful. That's what a good conversation is, an exchange of ideas. You know, here's some of my ideas on this thing, and let me hear what you have, because you will have a slightly different perspective on what I have to say, because you are a person who has a completely different perception from mine, and that is beautiful. And I admire. That's why I think everyone is awesome. But you know, what makes me upset is when someone doesn't want to talk about certain things, and I go like, come on. There's no harm in discussing ideas. They are not. You know, the idea is not to you. You shouldn't be worried, and ideas can't hurt you just because you're talking about it. It's not going to harm you in any way. And that's why I like open, honest conversations. And these people, these creators I've picked out, are typically open and quite honest. Although I sense Toycat and Joe Harver may not. No, sense Toycat may sometimes doesn't avoid, says he avoids certain things, but that's in a sense not avoiding it, because if you're being self-aware, then therefore you're saying that I'm not going to talk about X, but by saying that you are subtly talking about it. So even in the extreme of Toycat, which is not that extreme, that may not be the case. With Joe Harver, very open and honest with his audience. He frequently just does a video where he just sits somewhere and talks, and that's it. And I admire that too. And I suppose in that way, that's what I'm doing in a weird way, but I don't typically talk about my own content in this, because I know I sense that's rude. It's weird though to think that. It's like, it is my content. Maybe if you're interested in me talking about my own content, you would ask those questions, and then I'll know you're interested. But if you don't ask, then I'm not going to give it to you. But you know what you are asking about, Benji? Specifically you asked about what I think about other people online. So that's what I want to talk about. I sense that perhaps you were alluding to, like, is there anyone in the extreme? Is there anyone that I hate? Whoa! Can you really hate someone online? And again, that it does apply to how I think in real life. And in real life, there's really, like, I have no hate for anyone. If I hate someone, I go like, why do I even give them the time and space to be hated? Why even bother? Right? Like, why should I even give them the time and effort to be hated? I shouldn't. So why bother? And like, what is there even a reason to hate someone anyway? Just because they've done something that I disagree with doesn't mean I get to be mean to them in any way. I wouldn't want anyone to be mean to me just because they disagree with my ideas. So why should I treat anyone any different to that? I should treat those how I expect to be treated. Christianity has this teaching, and I imagine some other faiths and ideas too, because if you want to be treated equally, therefore a good way of doing that is to treat everyone how you treat yourself, and therefore you're treating everyone equally. But there's someone's definition of what that is could be vastly different. It could be like, oh, I treat myself by hitting myself. That's how I treat myself, and therefore I should treat everyone else that way. Though if you were to do that, that's hopefully the other person would be like, no, I don't like that. And if you're a nice soul, maybe, or a naive soul, you'd be like, really? I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry. And you stop. And you'd learn. Perhaps you won't stop straight away, because that's actually quite unrealistic. Bad habits are hard to break, and so we should give these types of people time and space to break these habits, and a bit of a kind of like a track on how much they're progressing through it. And then over time, they've learnt the other habits. Right? That seems very reasonable. This has been a massive tangent. So what do I think about other people online? I think, like I said at the start, I really just think about people online just like how I'd think of people in real life. Because real life is online. There's no difference. There is no real versus online. It's all life. This is all real life. This is all actually happening. This is all, like, I'm actually a living thing, and so are you. And it's just another way of communication. And just because you don't have a direct contact to me doesn't mean I am any different to you, or should be treated any differently. Right? That's fair, right? That makes a lot of sense. Beautiful melon thing. And so let's take a little break from this discussion and appreciate this melon. Also, I'm going to drink some water, because today, and I hope you understand, my voice is a bit tired, because I was singing in gospel choir, as I usually do, on a Wednesday. Fun fact, I sing in a gospel choir, and my voice is quite tired, because I had to sing some very high parts, very challenging stuff. So bear with me as I drink. I actually spilled some on myself. That's embarrassing. Kind of looks like I pee-peed myself a little bit. Whoops, Daisy. What my flatmates think. Have you pee-peed yourself? No, it's blackcurrant. Smell it. Start smelling my crotch. That'd be fair. And then they would know that I didn't actually wet myself if they smelt my crotch. So if they really wanted to test my my honesty, then that's what they would have to do. And if they were good friends, they, perhaps they would just listen to me. But if they were good people but were skeptical, then they would. Nothing weird about it. Nothing weird about smelling another person's crotch to see if they really have spilt what they said they've spilt on them instead of piss. So that's really that's what I think about other people online, Benji. But there are two parts to these comments. The second part is, let me get my Word document up. How do I feel when people are rude online? And again, like, I try to treat people all the same, regardless of where they are or who they are. And just because you are online, a digital space, doesn't mean I treat you any differently. Though there are certain powers that we have online that we don't have in real life. For example, blocking people, unique to online. You don't have that power in real life. You can't just block people in real life. There's a fantastic Black Mirror episode that follows this, like, what if you could block people in real life? And it's such a sad story. It's probably for the better we don't have that ability, because goodness, it's depressing, that reality. Although maybe it's dramatized and it's probably not that bad if it were to be implemented in real life. And so, I digress. When people are rude online, I don't tend to block them. I ask them that they're being rude, because I give people the benefit of the doubt that they didn't know they were being rude. And because I, myself, has been in that position. I've been accidentally rude to someone. And it's until someone goes, hey, you know what you're saying? That is being rude. And I go, okay, thank you for telling me this. That's the only way I'm going to know I'm being rude, is if someone says that that's rude. Right? Like, how else are you supposed to know? If you didn't know before, how do you know? Even if, right? That makes sense. And so I go, okay, someone's rude to me. Okay, you're being rude. Then I go, okay, so this means I'm being rude? Yes, you understand it. Fantastic. And if they're never rude again in that way, because again, like before, people can slip up again. Habits hard to break. Where you've heard the phrase, we are people of behavior. I had to go this way, actually, to Cakeland. Just stop going that way. We're humans of habit. People of habit. Patterns. And so patterns are hard to break when you start them. Especially if they're deep ones. And so you should always give people a chance. You should never automatically jump to the worst case scenarios. That's not very helpful. That's not very understanding. That's just like what the heck? Come on, give them a chance. At the very least, give them a chance. And then if they do it again, fair. Someone says, like, what if someone killed your entire family? What if they did that? Quite a powerful idea, quite a sad idea. The idea of loss. It's a very tragic idea. Often in media, it's played as very tragic. It's very strong emotional responses. And even like as I talk about it, it's giving me some strong emotional response. It's a very tragic idea. But what? Someone to kill my family. I would forgive them. I seriously would, because even though I disagree with killing people to an extent, because I don't actually know if I do. Like, what if I'm wrong about that? Because I'm open to the idea of always being wrong, because then that's how you learn new things. Like, oh, what if this idea was wrong? So I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I've not heard a compelling argument to be wrong too much. There's some pretty strong arguments, but I'm not going to talk about that. Now I'm talking about rude people online. Forgiveness. Why the heck, Amble, would you forgive someone who killed your family? That's not forgivable. I think it could be forgivable. Like, what if that killer, you saw a real turnaround, went to jail, super turnaround, genuine nice guy, or woman. Women can kill too. If you take anything away from this lesson, women kill as well as men. Thank you very much. It could happen. They could turn their life around. It could happen. And in that sense, why shouldn't you be open to the idea of that happening? And if so, then you could forgive them. Perhaps I would, it'd take a long time to get over it, but eventually I would. Oh yeah, I was going back to empty my inventory. But eventually I would. If you talk to when I talk to people about death and like what would I do? Nope, Amble, not going to bed. What would you want me to do when you die? And often it's like, yeah, I don't want much. Come on. Like maybe you'll have a funeral. It's pretty traditional. Kind of reflect on my life and then move on. Like, come on, don't hold on it for too long. That's like a pretty standard response I've heard. And I echo that response. I think, yeah, like, come on. Like, just because I'm dead doesn't mean you shouldn't stop enjoying your life. Come on. You could very much still, like, when I'm alive, I want to enjoy my life as much as I can. And so therefore, when you're alive, you should do the same thing. Though I'm not going to take away grieving. No, that's the word. Yes. I'm not going to take away your ability to have grief. I'm not saying, like, I don't know how long that's going to take me. I don't know how long it's going to take you. It's very different. We have very different ways of solving many different puzzles, and that's a very personal puzzle to solve for you. I'm not saying, I'm never going to go up to someone and go, oh, you're grieving? Well, that's ridiculous. No. It's a very, very, very typical and understandable response. Though, I'd also, something that people think about is the idea of, well, if that person was alive today and they were able to look at me whilst I was grieving, what would they say? Often it's like, come on, stop grieving, get out there and do what you want. You're still alive, I'm dead. You're still alive and I'm dead, and you really ought to be getting on with what you want to do that makes you happy, because at the end of the day, that's all I want you to be, is happy. And that's such a beautiful idea. It's such a lovely thing to think about, the idea of like, oh, at the end of the day, all I want you to be is happy. And if you're happy, then that's all you need. Right? And I think that's such a lovely idea. And fundamentally, I completely agree. As a goal, it's like, as long as you are happy, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter how much money you're earning. It's just like, are you happy with what you're doing? And the answer is yes. Fantastic. Fantastic. Good for you. I'm glad that you have found a way to be happy, because that's what we're all trying to achieve. Though you could get into like the delusion of happy and the lies we tell ourselves to think that we are happy when we're not happy. But we're great actors, so it's really easy to convince ourselves that something makes us happy when it's not. A good way for me to tell that I'm really happy and I'm not faking happiness, or it's not a lie, is if it's effortless. If I'm not even trying and I'm happy, then that seems like a good thing. Like, I don't have, like, it's not forced, basically. I'm not forcing myself to be happy. It's just like, it's a natural, it's like, I'm not even thinking about it and I'm being happy. That's a good sign. That's a good indicator. Though, kind of the whole like delusional thing is another can of worms that don't have to get into. I don't have to get into anything. I don't even have to release this episode. I could just be like, no, I'm not going to release this, but I'm going to anyway. You know, I could be wrong about everything I say, and that's good, because someone's going to correct me and I'll be like, really, tell me more, and then I'll learn. And that's the only way I'm going to learn, if someone tells me if I'm wrong. So I am empowered to say what I think and feel, because someone will be like, hey, have you thought about thinking or feeling this way? And it's like, no, I've never thought about thinking or feeling this way. And that's brilliant. That's why we have conversations. It's an exchange of ideas. No matter how ridiculous or small you may think your conversations or actions are, they are incredible They are endless. There are so many small things to talk about, and it's like the whole universe is of conversation points right in front of you that you can just go down at any time. Pockets of ideas that when you reach in, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. It's endless. It's endless. Fascinating stuff. Melons. I got melons. Look at my melons. Oh my god. I think it's ridiculous that anything could be followed by anything else. Okay. Big one. Anything could be followed by anything else. Right. Crazy. Mental idea, right? You could start something and end it however you want. And vice versa. It doesn't matter. You could just do it. You could just do it. You could start it and end it how you want to do it. Whether or not you can do it, different question. But your intentions, you can start it one way, end it another, and there's nothing stopping you from doing one path to another. And it makes me smile. It makes me laugh because I immediately go to the ridiculous, the inner prankster or troll or clown inside me immediately goes like, well, you can start with like this really informative and useful thing and end with like the least useful and informative thing. Like, oh, we'll start with like healthy ways of living and then immediately followed by top 10 ways to sit on a toilet. And it's just not helpful. Like, no one needs to know that. Like, why do I need to know top 10 ways to sit on a toilet? No one wants that. But it'd be funny. It's like, oh yeah, I was watching this thing about like, you know, top 10 ways not well, yeah, even vice versa. I was watching top 10 ways to sit on the toilet, and then it just like turned into a really informative video on how to live healthily or happily. It was really weird, but I kind of enjoyed that. I enjoyed the bold move to kind of start one way and end in a completely unpredictable way, because people like surprises. People, you know, despite what some people would think and feel, like people do like a bit of change. A bit of spice in their life. Variety? Yes, it's the spice of life. Doing the same things over and over and over again, we lose the meaning of that action by doing it over and over again, because we forget what it was like doing it for the first time, which is often the most memorable and exciting time of doing it. It's doing that thing the first time. The fifth time's like, it kind of feels like the other 2 times, and that becomes the 10th time. That just feels like the first 10 times, and over time it becomes repetitive, mundane, and boring. And that's how you get bored of things. How do I not get bored of Minecraft, right? Because I'm literally doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's a matter of perspective. It's that you got to reflect, remember, and hone in those initial ideas that you have, the vision, the end product. I'm in it. I love every step of this. I love it. I was going to say I'm in it for the end game, but really, I love this. I love every step of this. I love the philosophy behind what I'm doing. I enjoy what I'm doing, and therefore I can sustain what I'm going to do. There was certainly times where I just wasn't doing this, and then I come back to it, and I'm like, oh, guess I'm doing it again. I even like laid out the lights to be 1.17 friendly. I thought they could probably even be further apart than what they are. Oh well. Sometimes I have this feeling in my chest. It reminds me of being excited. Oh, and having butterflies in my stomach at the same time. That's what it feels like. And I get this overwhelming sensation of thrill, excitement, happiness, sadness. It's like I have it right now, because when I think about life, I think about all the possibilities that someone can do. It's one of the most like beautiful ideas, is the freedom of being able to do whatever you want. That makes me so happy. Because knowing that I really could just do what I want within reason of reality, of course, which, by the way, is practically endless. By the way, like, what? There are so many things you can do with so little ideas. It's bonkers. It just gives me hope and, I don't know, passion, drive, anything. It could be anything. It could be anything else, right? Oh, the potential. Oh, it just gets me so riled up. And there's nothing more that I want than to share that. I hope to share that feeling to the world. You know, because we're all capable of a happiness. There's no reason why you can't be capable of happiness. Like, come on, has anyone ever really said to you, you can't be happy? If they have, then you should have called them out, because of course you can be happy. Don't be ridiculous. Everyone can be happy. Just because you haven't got a face doesn't mean you can't be happy. You don't have to be smiling to be happy. You can just be happy. And that's it. There's nothing more to it. You just gotta, all it really needs to, like, if you know you're happy, you don't even have to tell anyone. You can just enjoy it to yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. If someone says it's selfish, ridiculous. Maybe it's jealousy. Maybe it's they're angry. You can be happy for whatever you want. I'm in a real preachy mood. So I'm now a priest. No, I'm not. But I'm in a real preachy mood. I mean, talking about motivation and actually being motivated are two very different things. The difference is actually just doing what you want to do. Just simply do it. Just do it. Start doing it. It doesn't have to be major. It doesn't have to be like 100%. You just have to start doing it. And that's the difference. And as soon as you start doing it, therefore you're motivated to do it. And that's it. There's no more to it. That's what that means. You know, people go, well, I haven't got any motivation. Well, as soon as they start doing it, then they have the motivation to do it because they are doing it. So all you have to do is do it. And that's pretty easy, right? Because, okay, imagine this. You want to do something. Let's say I want to clean my whole house. All right. Okay, what do I have to do? I have to get the cleaning, get water, and I have my hands, and then I start to clean my house. And at that point, I'm actually doing it. And then bit by bit, you can just systematically clean your house. I think one thing people get confused about is they lose their perspective of time. You have a lot of time. I didn't know. I don't think you've. By the way, I don't think you realize you have a lot of time. Something that us people in the first world are blessed with is a lot of time, and you can do anything you want in that time. And I don't have to tell you this, but you know you can do what you want, and you can do what you actually want to do in that time. The term "fake it till you make it" applies in this time. When you're not doing anything, think to yourself, okay, I need to fake it to make it. So I want to be X, so I'm going to start doing Y. And what do I mean there is like, okay, I want to be an astronaut. So I'm going to just start researching and reading about how to become an astronaut and start taking action on that. Because as soon as you start taking action on it, you're already one step closer to actually just being it. The only difference between, you know, you in the future being the role that you want to be and you now is you in the future has just worked towards it. And working towards it simply is breaking down the traits and needs, or think of it as like tick boxes. Think as like your dream career as like a bunch of tick boxes. The difference between you with the career and you now is you with the career has completed every single box. You could start ticking those boxes off right now. You could do that right now. It doesn't have, and all you need is a rough plan. And you just go, all right, 10 years, I want to be here. I'm going to write down every single goddamn thing I need to do along the way. And And the more you do it, probably the more boxes that appear, because you realize it's actually far more complex than you even imagined. But then maybe that's what's so thrilling about it. It's like, oh, I didn't even realize how hard this is. But I'm so goddamn determined. Though, this leads me on to my next point, which is you don't have to do what you dreamed to have done. Your dreams can change. You change as a person, your dreams change. It's actually extremely normal and not unusual. But you absolutely should dream big, because if you don't dream big, then you will not go far. Your dreams, if you dream big and you succeed small, that's still a lot of success, because you dreamed really big. You really dreamt, you went for the stars, but all you ended up with was not as much as the stars, which is still a lot. And if you were to work towards it, you may find that you're content with what you have, because you respect what you've earned, because you earned it. And that is a difference between someone who is given something and someone who works towards something else. When I mean given, I don't mean in the sense of like given after the work, more like they were simply given it. Like my dad has just funded me. I just won the lottery. I bought one ticket off a whim and I won the lottery. I didn't necessarily earn that in the traditional sense. I was just given it, and therefore my mind is blown. Suddenly I'm overwhelmed with tons of wealth. I have no idea what to do with it. Where to even start? How to comprehend it all? And it's crazy. The world is now an alien, exciting place all at once. But also now it's a terrifying place because I'm so unfamiliar with it. Very closely related, excitement and fear. Similar to happiness and sadness. And I mean, what I would do is just immediately, with the money, I'd pay someone to manage it for me, like a, what are they called? Money managers. They have an accountant. I would immediately buy an accountant because they would know much more what to do with it than I do, and it'd be worth the cost, no matter how. Right? I'm not crazy to think that. But you are at high risk of just splashing it because you have no concept of what you just have. You just got there, like it's like skipping a whole level. It's like in a video game where you skip to the final world, like cheating pretty much in the sense of like it's not the traditional way of doing it, and it's not how people intended you to do it, but the option's still there. And you have absolutely no respect or perspective on what you just did, and so you can't really appreciate it as much. And that doesn't mean that you could. You absolutely could. You always could. You can always do anything, right? So that's fine. But you definitely you have a lot of work still to understand about it, and that may take you perhaps not as long as if you were to earn that much money, but the point being on this rant is if you work towards something, you certainly have a lot more respect for other things and perspective, which is lovely. Always awesome. Always love that about learning new things. It's like, wow, those people do that? I'm completely taken away by the fact they do that. I thought it was like perhaps not too bad, but goddamn, that must have taken a heck of a lot of time. And you get this like newfound respect for a thing. That's a feeling I also love. There's not many feelings I don't love. I kind of love a lot of feelings and feeling things. I love being alive. Though I'm not afraid of being dead as well, as a strange contrast. But I understand that you can't have one without the other. Like, I can't really appreciate being alive without actually... The melons now touch the cakes. Sidetrack. This is it. The melons now... Oh, look at this. Look at this. Ooh. I can walk from them on the cakes onto the melons. They're officially connected. Think about that. They're connected now. There's something that connects these two areas together, and that's the melons themselves. We're one step closer to completing this melon challenge. Now, truth be told, I didn't really count 20,000. I don't know how to do that now because I'm just kind of... Although, you could do like some math and calculate it and prove it. Perhaps I'll do that. I plan to be, for those still listening, I plan to finish this by March. The 1 year anniversary. No, when the hell's the 1 year anniversary of the cake video? It's even longer than that. It's even longer, isn't it? Hang on. Wait, I can just do that here. Watch this. I forget that I can just like do this. Let's put myself, let's disconnect real quick. And it's got YouTube. I forget I can literally just go on YouTube on the screen. Right. Latest video, hype. Here it is. 7 months ago. Exactly on the... Look at this. What the heck is this? Oh yeah, because like it's like a weird outro and then there's like a song. Weird. The 9th of June. Calendar up. So today is the 26th. And the 9th of June. Oh my god. It's ages away. Alright, I've got time. I got time. How long is this recording going on for? I have no desire to stop anytime soon. Okay, we're doing good. That's good. That's good. This is quite a view. Oh my god. Just suddenly melons everywhere. Woo! Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Let's continue this expansion of the melons. I forgot my train of thought. I was probably talking something about happiness and sadness, life and death. Yes, I'm not afraid of death. Seriously, I'm not afraid. In fact, in some way, I kind of look forward to it. In a sense that, you know, I'm not gonna make myself die. I want to live as long as I possibly can. But I'm not gonna force myself to live as long as I possibly can. I'm just gonna live my life, and then whatever happens, happens. You know, like some things are unpredictable, and it's fine. That's absolutely fine. Shit happens. But I don't like when I'm scared, when I'm in fear of death. I find that is unhelpful in wanting to be happy, and that's because when I'm scared of death, or scared in general, which is what being scared is scared of like loss of something. In that, yeah, it is. I could get into that in more detail, but I'm not going to. Being scared of death isn't helpful for me because when I'm scared, I don't tend to do the things I want to do. I tend to do the things that I feel like I need to do, and it's a big distinction between these two things because the things I need to do aren't necessarily as fun as the things I want to do, and so I avoid them. I don't do it. I laugh at the face of death. So I laugh. You know, if I get scared of something, often I think there's something I'm scared to do. Therefore, I should do it. And that's usually my train of thought. Sounds a bit mental, and there are exceptions, like things I'm unsure about if they are correct to do or not. And that's not a fear, but more like acceptance that I just simply need to do more reading about it. As a student, I could talk about how there are lots of access to illegal drugs, but I tend to not do it because I don't know enough about it, and quite frankly, it doesn't seem too appealing to me half the time because it's like, well, I'm already having a goddamn great time. Why should I be taking that? What difference is really going to make? Though one could argue that it would give you a new perspective on something, and that might have value in its own. But there are some drugs out there. Just do your research, basically. And if I was going to give any drug advice, it'd be you should actually just read about anything that you do, because as soon as you're more informed, the safer you are. Rather than preaching, don't do it, you should preach, well, what if someone were to do it? And what might that look like? And how does that affect your body? Because at the end of the day, it's your bloody body. You get to do what the hell you want of it. I'm not going to tell you what to do with it. I'm not going to do anything about it. Like I care. It's your body. Oh, I don't give a damn what you do with your body. You're free to do what you want. And I respect your freedom. And that's what respect feels like, guys. Well done. You just felt a bit of that respect. Do you want to lose my respect? Then just be like, Amble, here are some of my ideas, and I never want to listen to yours. Immediately, I'll be like, piss off. That's a bit of a dick move, isn't it? Come on, you're not even open to the idea of being wrong. You could very easily be wrong, by the way. Don't forget, I'll never forget that. If I ever were to succeed, which is a high chance I won't, it's very unlikely, then I'm never going to forget I still could be wrong. People fear that there's a fear like when people get popular that they become like less genuine. That mainly be due to the fact that people, it's like your environment, suddenly your environment changes. People start treating you differently, or you start treating yourself differently, vice versa, and back to front. Then you start acting that way. You become what you are acting, and you believe it. That's why routine's powerful, because you start routine. Basically, you're convincing yourself, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to force myself to do it until I believe I do it. And then as soon as you stop thinking about doing it, then you know that it's become a new behavior of yours. Because you can train yourself like a dog. Anyway. Oh, where the hell was I even going? I've lost my thought process because I start thinking about live like a dog. It's a very silly phrase. Live like a dog. They don't really think about what they do. They just do. And they're pretty happy doing that. And I'm like, God damn. Pretty jealous. Having doubts or second thoughts could be a sign of anxiety. Or it could be a sign of reason. Perhaps they're very similar. Perhaps one is the fear of having questionable thoughts. It's like, oh, I'm scared that I'm thinking about an alternative idea. And the other one is I've had another idea. Perhaps what could that be? By the way, I'm drinking. Forgive me for I drink. Maybe that is the difference by anxiety. Like, I'm scared of having alternative ideas that other people may deem as wrong. And come on, we talked about earlier. There's no wrong or there are wrong or right actions contextually to a well-framed situation. Like, it's pretty in a group of people they'll be genuinely well, this was clearly the right thing to do, and that was clearly the wrong thing to do. Although you could argue a spectrum, but that's hard to I'm not gonna dunk on thinking of things as a spectrum, because it's a very nice way to think about certain ideas, and it can help understanding, and it should be considered. All ideas should be considered, though. That's just a given. That sometimes it's good to try and think through things as definitive. What if you just did that and that was your reality? How would that turn out for you? And that's when you start really pushing yourself. Because if it's more if a spectrum of actions I could do, then it's a bit more comfortable. And I like being uncomfortable, because being uncomfortable is my comfort. Because I know if I'm in an uncomfortable situation, I'm in a situation of learning. And if I could learn from something, then therefore I've grown. And if I'm growing, therefore I'm improving. Now, growing and improving could seem like I'm having a terrible time, but I can come out of it being stronger than ever. For those who are going through hard times, you are also going through a fantastic rapid fire pace development test. Think of it as when you see things in films or TV shows where they put a character through the mill, put them through hardship. It's an extreme test of character, but the results are fast development. That's where you are also imitating, by being in a horrific environment, by having such a hard time. Every single day you are actually being tested, your character, and you really are gonna feel like you know who you are and where you stand on certain ideals, because you're faced with that harsh reality every single day. That's cool. But of course there are other ways you could do it. But that is certainly a valid way. At any point I could be wrong as well. I've said this before. It's kind of like Is it a get out of free jail card? It's like Amble can say anything he wants, and as long as he just says, oh yeah, I could be wrong though, therefore he could just say anything. And my response to that would be like, yes, right? That's pretty reasonable, isn't it? Because if I don't say anything, then how do I know what to say or what not to say? If I were to never say it and be told that, oh, you can't say that. If no one said it, if I just never said it, or someone never told me to not say it, again, never saying something, how the hell am I supposed to know? Huh? How am I supposed to know? Like, I'm not in your world. I'm not you. I haven't experienced what you experience. How do you expect me to understand what you're going through unless you explain it to me? Like, I could make assumptions, but I try to avoid those. I'm not going to make too many assumptions of anyone because I don't want to make a character out of you that I don't even know. I don't know you. I'm not going to make assumptions. I will happily, openly guess things as like a sort of fun, playful game. Like, oh, okay, they're like this, and maybe you're like that, and perhaps I'll put it in a playful way because it's funny. It's fun to try and guess the kind of character you're interacting with, because when it's right, it's hilarious, and when you're wrong, it's also hilarious, and you can just laugh about that kind of thing. Like, you're so off, lol, or you're so right. That is interesting. Perhaps you can start formulating some interesting character studies of people if you keep doing it well enough. And you're like, I'm really accurate. Like, maybe I'm onto something. Perhaps you've like accidentally taught yourself a really cool skill there. Anyway, I'm massive sidetracked. How am I supposed to know I'm wrong unless someone goes, hey, you're wrong. Oh, okay. Should I put caked on top of these melons? Oh my god, that'd be crazy. No, focus on the melons first. Look at this glorious path. Okay, let me talk about melons for a bit. Come on, let me take a break from opening up and expressing the way that I am and live, and just kind of completely putting myself out there and just talk about melons for a second. Lord, let me be. Let me talk about my gosh darn melons. Come on, let me have this. Or not. You know, if you don't want to, you could just leave. Like, I'm not forcing you to be here, huh? Am I? If I am, that's pretty funny. Hello, future self. Oh, that's weird. You know, that's one of the freakiest things to do. It's like just like if you make a recording of anything, just say hi to yourself from the future, because that's when you're gonna listen to it. And so in the moment, I actually said hello to my future self. That was true. If I listen back to it, I actually said hello to my future self there. Freaky. Such a freaky idea. Because we talk about like, imagine communicating with yourself in the future. You can do that. All you have to do is write, record, or say something down and just listen to it in the future, and then you've successfully time traveled. Freaky. Although it's not really like, it's it's time travel in the sense of like you have bent the time of like, kind of my mind is kind of melting a bit. It's amazing. I've done it before to myself and it freaks me out, but I love doing it. Hello future, but basically the joke was hello future self torturing someone else to force them to listen to this thing. Perhaps this episode for me seems different to the last episode in the sense that I am, because this is all very new, by the way. This is my second ever one. I'm very new to the just talking. I'm not really that new to talking to myself because I have done streaming for a little bit now, but I would still say I'm quite new to that too. And I talk to myself a lot over the past almost year, 2 months off it being a year. And before that, I already could talk a storm. I've learnt how to do that, because all you have to do to start a point of interest is to go, aren't pigs fascinating? And immediately you're hooked, because now I'll commit as well. Here's something that's fascinating about pigs. Pink. But in Minecraft, they're like at different levels of pink. And he's also running away from me. Look, he's got like like light pink and some dark pinks on the belly. He's got a big snout pointing out to him. Very cute. We love snouts. How often do you appreciate a pig's snout in Minecraft? Oh, he's really like copyright. Look at that thing. Look at him. I think when I was younger, I used to stare at animals in Minecraft. I've not done it in a while. Look at this guy's face. Isn't he cool? Hey! Oh, we're in a staring contest. Hello. I love your snouts. Big fan. I'm sorry I haven't given you enough attention. No! I've been rejected. Sometimes I laugh. And then because I laugh more. Like it's like a feedback loop. Just kind of going round and round and round and round. Sometimes all you have to do to make someone else laugh is to laugh. And it doesn't have to be like a genuine laugh, but then it turns into a genuine laugh because you're joking. You know, you make a joke attempt. You're trying to be funny. You're not funny yet, but if it lands, then it suddenly becomes funny because you're just happy and glad and having a good time that someone else is laughing and having a good time. Makes me think of children because I want to have kids in the future. And that may be an unusual and bold statement for someone to say as a 21-year-old. But I've thought this for about 2 years now that I wanted kids. And as I think about it more, the more likely it's probably going to occur. Current girlfriend. To suggest that, like, oh, there's going to be like tons more. No, this may be it. This could be the one. Who knows? See how it goes. I'm down. Also, maybe it isn't. Could happen. I don't know. I can't see the future. Call me crazy, but I can't see the future. Anything can happen. And I believe that too. So, something I tell my girlfriend is like, I want kids. Which is hilarious. It's like, there's so long in the future from now to kind of be planning that. And the look on her face. She's probably listening. I think she listened to the whole of last one. So, hello. I still want kids. I tell us all the time. If you ever want, if you want to test your relationship with someone, just say like something you just want and you can't not have that. And then like, okay, either I say that I can do that or I can't. And if I don't think I can't do it, then I really ought to just break up. The best thing you can do for someone else who like you're going out with, but fundamentally disagree on one, like it's like a, what's it called? I'm thinking of it in terms of Brexit. It's not a no deal. It's a deal breaker. It literally is just a deal breaker. Like it's good to know each other's deal breakers, because if your deal breakers don't, like if they align, as in like you agree on like what's to break up upon and what's not to break up upon from the get-go, then you're gonna have a pretty solid relationship. You don't have to, like, it could just be like, oh, I'm interested in going out with you, and here are all the things that I actually would expect in the future. No, my melons. And if they go, oh no, can't do that, perhaps you can negotiate like some kind of weird dating deal, like, okay, we'll do X amount of time and then we'll kind of see where we're at by then. Although you might be giving yourself a hard time, because then you'll just, if you know you're going to inevitably break up, it's going to be hard to break up in the future as you get closer. And so my advice would be to just not commit then if you think you're going to break up, because if you think you're going to break up, then like what's even the point of going out in the first place? It's just kind of cruel. It's not like terrible. I suppose, like, how bad is it perhaps I should say, like, are breakups that bad? Like, how bad is a breakup? Like, or aren't you ought to just to be happy you were even going out in the first place, and you really just get over it? Like, come on, get over it. Highly emotional stuff. And suddenly, beautiful piano music just kicks in. That's lovely. That's some lovely stuff. Love is a fascinating emotion. There's so much to learn about other people through relationships. Of all degrees, friendships, best friends, not best friends, acquaintances, strangers. We have so much to learn from each other. I could never learn it all. I'll never learn it all. but it's not going to stop me from trying. Because if I stop trying, I might as well be dead. Because dead people stop trying. Because they can't try. Because they're dead. And therefore, that's why I might as well be dead. Oh my god, time flies when I'm recording these. Like, it's almost been an hour already. Damn. But I'm going to keep going. I've checked twice and it's like, oh my god, it's almost been an hour already. I've just been rambling and rambling. I fear that I'll stop being able to talk about. That's why I want people to comment about any topic and literally anything, because it'll give me some material to talk about. Because if I do this like every week, I'm afraid that I'll run out of things to talk about. Because there's only so many things I'm really like ever concerned about within a week. You know, like I do like very similar tasks every single week. Like I do a couple streams, I work at my work, and that's what I think about doing. Let's have like a really nice moment. Oh, look at this. I'm gonna narrate. This is my Minecraft. This is how I play. If you're not playing the way you want to play, then why are you even playing? Let me teach you something about Minecraft. It's a sandbox game where you can do anything, and anything is possible. And so I challenge you to do your impossible. This has been a message by Amble. Anyway, I think the music kind of peaked there. I don't think it's going to peak again. I hope it doesn't, because then I could have kept being like all cinematic. Oh yeah, so yes, that's why it's powerful to then try and encourage others to help me create. That's a pretty far in melon. Could that be the furthest melon? This is the furthest melons. This. Oh. That is the furthest melon into the cake biome. So far. Could be... Oh. No. Because this still connects. It has to connect. It most certainly does not connect. I gotta put it back. I didn't realize there was a bit of grass here. There's just a bit of like come on. There should be cakes here, but it's not. Weird. I look at. Oh, does that count as a connection? Kinda. It is only one block away, but it's a diagonal block, which is kind of funny because like in chess, like going diagonals is actually going 2 squares, because not many things can go in a diagonal, and the equivalent is like 2 squares of movement. For a lot of pieces. It's weird. It's weird. Chess is weird. Chess is a weird game. I recently agreed to do something on a Monday without realizing that I already had like an obligation for the Monday, and I have no way of telling them otherwise. Oh, I do! Hey, it's fine. I'll just message. Oh, thank God. Thank goodness that there is a way to communicate to people. Oof, that was a close one. In fact, I'll even see... Oh no, that's the day after. I won't even see the person, one of the people to this thing I've agreed to, until afterwards now. Which is why I was kind of upset that I couldn't tell them I couldn't go, because I like telling people, like updating them, like if I can and can't do things, because it's fair, rather than not saying anything. Although I also like to not do it to an extreme, just to piss people off, because I think it's funny. I do it to my housemates all the time. I just don't say I'm going anywhere. I just disappear. I'm like, where the hell did he go? And I'm just like, gone. Gone for like, I think almost like almost just like 32 hours. I just got straight gone out the house. Usually I'm in the house. And they'll like start messaging me like, oh, like, where have you gone? I just ignored it because I was like, nah. It's funny. And they're like worried. They're like, oh, what if like something happened to you? And I was like, you would call if you were concerned. Because they hadn't called. Because they weren't really that concerned. Brilliant. Just call them out. I love calling people out. Sometimes I will use strong language to show how passionate I am about certain ideas. And also to try and get other people to kind of be more like direct about what they want to talk about and their ideas. And that can be like a quite useful tool. But passion and anger, again, are very closely related things. It's hard to like manage between the two. I admit sometimes I let my anger take over my passion, and that's not helpful because but I'm also quite sensitive to, and like I kind of chameleon to an environment. So if someone else is being like angry and passionate, I can often feel like I'm being challenged to kind of step up to them. But really, I'm just kind of coming down to their level. It's not helpful. It's a really hard one to break, a habit I've not like completely rid of yet. I'm trying, and that's really like all I can do. So trying to be like a neutral Zen state is quite good for managing those situations, because you're like, why are they coming at me like this when I'm so peaceful and Zen? You know what makes me peaceful and Zen? Minecraft melons. Let's go. This has really come along in this hour. There's a lot of progress right here. A proper melon path from straight to the cakes to the melon biome. I love it. I am loving it. Now, I don't know how long until like, I think I should wrap it up now. Because I think it's been an hour now, and I tried to only aim for an hour because that's the format I've just made up last time. So thank you, Benji, for the comment. And Adriana, there was another comment. I'm going to scroll down to it. Just telling me how to say things in Spanish. I didn't say anything in Spanish today. I was pretty on topic. But thank you for the comment anyway. Shout out. Or Chimmy, as you use the Chimmy channel to comment. And with that, I'm going to sign out. That was me rambling. Like I said, if you want to see more, just literally comment. That's all you have to do, and I'll talk about it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the random Minecraft gameplay. Kind of is an excuse to play Minecraft. Address comments, it's all things. And yeah, good. Bye.